What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's TFD. And yeah, it's looking like we got a full-blown firestorm brewing in the nation's capital. And this one's all about Caitlin Clark. Buckle up. Let's go. So check this out. Ever since Caitlin Clark stepped into the WNBA, from game one, y'all, it's been one incident after another. You saw it. I saw it. The elbows, the takedowns, the no calls, the flagrant fouls just swept under the rug like they never even happened. And now we're hearing Washington, D.C. is paying attention. Yeah, you heard that right. Word on the street is that there may be a potential federal probe into the way Caitlin Clark has been treated by the league and some of its players. And I'm telling y'all, this ain't no fan theory. This ain't just Twitter noise. This thing's got legs. First, it was the Wall Street Journal dropping a bombshell report basically questioning whether Caitlin Clark's civil rights have been violated. And I thought, okay, mainstream media finally stepping in. But now, hold on, because Indiana Senator Jim Brown is calling for an official investigation. And to top it all off, Stephen A. Smith himself just went on air saying the WNBA needs to be held accountable. You can't make this up. I mean, let's just think for a second if this turns out to be true, that there was an actual organized effort, even quietly encouraged, to target Caitlin Clark on the court, to keep her down, to not call fouls, to paint her as privileged so people wouldn't speak up for her. That's a massive civil rights issue. That's not just sports politics. That's a violation on an entirely different level. And get this, I wasn't going to say anything until I had a second confirmation, but now that I do, I've been told by sources close to the situation that Caitlin Clark's agent might be the one who lit the match on all this. Allegedly. Yep. Some of y'all were out there saying her agent's sitting on the sidelines, but from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, they've been working the phones, pushing back hard, and may have already been speaking with federal legal reps. So what happens if her civil rights were broken? Bro, that's a lawsuit that could change everything. That's the kind of lawsuit where Caitlin Clark could own the WNBA. And I ain't exaggerating. If a court finds a league allowed target abuse, ignored the rules, and endangered her safety while profiting off her name, image, and marketability, that's legal hell for the W. And let's not even get started on the rumors that this might be a Yukon-connected agenda. Try and keep Caitlin from fully taking over the spotlight. If there's even a shred of truth to that, it's a massive scandal. Bigger than basketball. Bigger than sports. And look, I don't care if you're a Caitlin Clark fan or not. If you're an American and you believe in fairness, safety, and justice, this should make you mad. We talk about land of the free, home of the brave. But this ain't freedom. This is bullying. This is suppression. And I'm telling you right now, I won't be quiet about it. Not now. Not ever. So yeah, this thing's growing fast. It's picking up steam. And if the rumors are true, the WNBA better lawyer up, because Caitlin Clark might become more than a jump shot. All right, let me jump on over to X real quick, because this right here is picking up steam fast. Shout out to Andy for posting this. We need to talk about it. So this dropped last night, and it's making waves. Andy writes, Representative, now Senator, Jim Banks from Indiana just sent a letter to the WNBA demanding answers about what steps the league has taken to protect Caitlin Clark after that dirty hit from Chindy Carter. It's been over a year, and with more cheap shots stacking up, Congress needs to step in. Protect CC. Is that the sound of the federal government knocking on the WNBA's front door? If I'm Kathy Engelbert right now, I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm sweating bullets. I'm nervous for the league. Because listen, this isn't just another random post going viral. This is an actual U.S. senator putting official pressure on the W. That's Capitol Hill attention. And when lawmakers start asking questions about players' safety, civil rights, and lack of league action, the next step could be subpoenas, investigations, and hearings. And y'all remember the Wall Street Journal piece we covered a few days back? Yeah, that wasn't just fluff. That article straight up said Caitlin Clark's civil rights may have been violated by the WNBA. That's not opinion. That's a warning shot. And now, with Senator Banks bringing Congress into it, this is serious. This is national. This is political now. Now here's where it gets even messier. Because just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Let's not forget the Las Vegas Aces just got sued recently, too. Oh, yeah, y'all remember that. That was over how they handled player contracts and health benefits. It's all stacking up. So if you're the WNBA front office right now, you've got the most popular rookie in league history getting beat down game after game. No consistent punishments for players throwing dirty hits. Federal lawmakers now demanding accountability, and multiple lawsuits surrounding player treatment. This is bad. This ain't just a PR issue. This could blow up into a full-blown legal disaster. Because if there's even a hint that Caitlin Clark has been deliberately targeted and the league turned a blind eye, that's not just bad management. That's civil rights territory. And don't forget, all it takes is one congressional hearing, one federal lawsuit, one leaked email, and the WNBA's leadership is in trouble, real trouble. So I'm telling y'all, this ain't over. We've been talking about this since that first hit in Game 1. Now it looks like the government's watching too. And if the feds get involved, it's not going to be a slap on the wrist. It's going to be the reckoning. Stay locked in, folks. This story is only getting bigger. Let's check out what Stephen A. just had to say. Because when Stephen A. Smith starts talking like this, you know it's serious. So, boom. He's now suggesting that the WNBA might actually need a federal investigation over how they've treated Caitlin Clark. Bro, I told y'all, I've been saying it. This ain't just drama. This is spooky. Something real shady is happening with the league and Caitlin, man. And don't sit there and tell me it's all a coincidence. Nah, dog. This is too consistent. Too many hits. Too much silence. This ain't by accident. Let's see what Stephen A. had to say. Stephen A. Smith responded to a recent opinion piece by the Wall Street Journal that called for a government investigation into the WNBA for the controversial handling of physical plays against superstar Caitlin Clark. The Wall Street Journal piece titled, "The WNBA and Caitlin Clark Civil Rights," drew mixed reactions this week after it argued that Clark has been subject to a hostile workplace due to how referees have called physical plays against her dating back her rookie season in 2024. The piece called for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations. Now, the Wall Street Journal titled the thing of the WNBA and Caitlin Clark civil rights, which we already know about that. Now, this is what Stephen A. Smith said. Okay, I'm not here saying the case will be won by the government if it gets to the points. I'm saying they have a case, they have an argument, Smith said of the idea during an episode of the show on Tuesday. Smith also suggested President Donald Trump could use such an investigation to solidify support among his followers. And if Trump jumps in on this, oh man, it's about to get loud. It's about to get real loud. You think this thing's big now? Just wait. Do we really doubt he'd speak up? Come on now. I'm not reading through all this. Let's just pull up the clip. Let's go ahead and pull up Stephen A. Smith. Find the clip, see what he's talking about, because I'm telling y'all right now, this whole thing is looking real spooky. We're just going to watch a piece of it, though. The thing's like 20 minutes long.
I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark, the Department of Justice, and quite possibly the President of the United States himself. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. But the one thing I will not do is take credit for this. I am looking at the Wall Street Journal. The author of the article is a guy by the name of Sean McLean. Let me read to y'all the opening couple of graphs because I want you to hear the impact of this. This is serious. This is serious. And I could say it with my team here, having the footage and the receipts to back me up. I could be in that I told you so mode. I really, really could. But I ain't going to do that because I'm in a good mood. I'm going to be chill. But I could be saying I told you so. Because let me read this to you. Caitlin Clark has done for the women's NBA what Michael Jordan once did for the NBA. Made it more valuable, watchable, and marketable. Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Ms. Clark treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache. That approach could turn into a legal liability for the WNBA. Since she joined the league last year, Ms. Clark's impact has been seismic. Merchandise sales soared 601%. Indiana Fever viewership jumped 170%. The team's value tripled. League Pass subscriptions climbed 366%. App engagement rose 613%. And her endorsements topped $11 million. She's the economic engine driving the league forward. Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson questioned Ms. Clark's 2024 Time Athlete of the Year recognition. Ms. Clark shattered fan vote records with 1.29 million all-star votes, yet ranked only 9th among guards on the player ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't stop there. Because before I read you some quotes, I want to also read you why I'm saying this to you. Remember when I brought up the 2024 U.S. Olympic roster, how she was left off of that and how stupid that was for Team USA women's basketball to leave her off? Remember I said that? They said this is where they're going now. Ms. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations. Am I making it up now? Remember I said this months ago. Remember I talked about people being jealous. The Cheryl Swoops of the world and others. Remember I pointed that stuff out? Remember I talked about the rough housing? Remember I talked about all of that? Let me read further. This would mirror the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission investigation into the Erica Hamby's pregnancy discrimination claims against the WNBA and her team. Congress and Labor and Justice Departments would be justified in examining the facts. At Harvard and Columbia, during anti-Semitic protests, institutional leaders played down threats and failed to protect students. Congress and Trump's administration demanded answers. Columbia's recent $221 million settlement for civil rights violations shows the effect of such scrutiny. If the Trump administration can settle with Columbia for a $221 million settlement over what's taking place on the campus, you think you can definitively rule out what kind of noise can be made if the WNBA continues to allow this treatment of Caitlin Clark? You really, really think they're going to be silent? Now, before you go any further, I'm not here saying that the case could be will be won by the government if it got to that point or anything like that. I'm saying they have a case. They have an argument. And do we doubt that at his discretion, at his disposal, if he finds this to be an issue that's politically expedient for him, that Trump won't use this to feed his base? The golden child in her second year in the league, who was top 4 in MVP voting last year, the assist leader last year, a galvanizing talent that has done wonders for the NBA. If she is seen to be physically getting abused on a basketball court in a way that is such a clear and flagrant discrepancy compared to what happens to others, that man is not going to say something? Didn't you just hear Charlamagne tha God point to Trump using issues to evade other issues? You don't think Caitlin Clark could become an issue of national, potentially international, and definitely federal proportions? You don't think so? Let me tell you what kind of quotes Trump would lead on. Sophie Cunningham told...
Now that's from Sophie Cunningham. Folks, And if you want to see the full breakdown, head over to Stephen A. Smith's YouTube channel. The full episode is up there. Bro, I'm just going to say it. We need Trump to speak up on this. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what side you're on. That don't matter right now. This ain't about politics. This is about principle. Trump is a former president. He's got the platform, he's got the reach, and right now, CC needs someone loud enough to shake the room. Because let's be real, Caitlin Clark's been violated straight up. Not once, not twice, not even 3 times. It's been week after week, game after game. Her civil rights, trampled. Her safety, ignored. Her name, used, but not protected. We need justice for Caitlin Clark. We need anyone, with power to stop this mess. Because what's happening right now ain't right, ain't fair, ain't legal. And I'm telling you, if Trump comes out and backs this, it's gonna make noise. Big noise. And maybe, finally, the WNBA will have to answer for what they've let happen to Caitlin. This is not going away. This is going to be one of those topics that carries all through the offseason, and maybe even throughout Caitlin Clark's entire career if things don't change. This, my friends, this is about to grow some serious legs. And remember, when it all blows up, just remember where you hurt first. Now, get down in that comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about this. Hit that like, hit that sub, and keep those bells on. You're not going to want to miss what's coming next.